The Super Coach Experience. The Super Coach Experience. The Super Coach Experience.
Hello and welcome to the final episode of the Supercoach Experience. And I've got to start that again because it didn't record, but let's just start. Oh, no inputs. Sorry.
Nothing like some technical difficulties. Nothing like some of the Supercoach Experience. They're back.
What's the problem?
The week Sabs returns. There's problems, guys.
It's chaos.
Oh, my God.
That's what happens when you have a kid.
Gives people more time to tune in.
Let's go again. Hello and welcome to the final episode of the year for the Supercoach Experience. I'm your host, Brandon Savage, the coach of the Savage Turbos. We're here. Black tie event. It's a formal occasion. Today has been an absolute crazy day, and I'm here with the full panel, lads, to help dissect what has gone down in the last week. So we'll start with Jake, the coach of Raymond Noodles. How are you, Jake? Looking very spiffy.
Yes, thank you very much. Yourself as well. Yeah, it's been a good week. Not so much for me, but for one member of our team, but I'm sure we'll get to that.
Yes, and I think I know who you're talking about. Mikey, you've had a great week, so I think that's who you're talking about. Looking like you're going to a funeral when the rest of us are going to a nice little wedding. What's the go there?
Yeah, unfortunately, this is the only dress shirt I had there, which, funny enough, I did wear to a funeral. But
Jesus.
Yeah, I've got. I don't know if you're going to put it out there, but yeah, I can't tie up a tie. Timmy tried to teach me, so since for the tie event. Looking formal at least, but yeah, congrats to Timmy, and it's can't believe it's the last episode. This year's absolutely flown by, and what a big year for Supercoach and for the SC Experience, man. So excited to get to our last episode.
Before I go to the man of the moment, I don't know if it will be the last episode of the year because I think we really need to sit down and have a recap with Timmy throughout the year, and I guess we'll discuss that later. But Timmy, the man of the moment. Mikey's dressed like he is going to a funeral. We are at a funeral because you absolutely murdered 140,000 other super coaches. How do you feel? How has the media attention gone?
Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. Just crazy having all this sort of attention on me. I feel like there was enough attention on me throughout the back end of the season when I was in front, you know what I mean? And now it just got even crazier. But, I appreciate everyone who's gotten around the Villi army and shown their love and, took time to congratulate me and also shown some love towards my family as well. I just wanted to say this for Mikey. I don't mind the loose tie look. I think it's that sexy look. You see the guy in the movie. It's usually a bow tie, though. They just got half of it, sort of half done. It's like
that's exactly what I'm going for.
Yeah, bring it sexy back.
I don't mind it as well. I think the short sleeve need to be more recognised. So obviously, Tim has won it over the weekend. We knew it was coming, and it's just been a whirlwind over the last few weeks. You're feeling the pressure is off now, Tim?
Yeah, massively. I put a lot of pressure on myself. I think that was where the most pressure came from. I was pretty hard on myself a lot of the times throughout the season, and then um, yeah, I guess yeah, every decision I put a lot of stress into. So to come out the other side of it now, it's extremely relieving. It was sort of sad the first little day afterwards. I sort of thought, oh no, I've got nothing to do. I've got no more decisions to make with Supercoach. Are we getting some feedback here?
We're getting
Uh,
some
It's got,
Lag or
There's just a little bit.
okay?
I'm
I
not
felt
sure.
like I was going insane or something here. Taking me.
Now, someone must have their thing just open a bit louder.
Yeah, but yeah,
Keep going.
super relieving now, mate. Very, very relieving. Yeah, I feel very good about being able to achieve this. I think it's a once in a lifetime thing. I think if I was lucky enough to even come anywhere near the top, 100 or anything like that, I'd be surprised. So I was happy I was just able to grab this opportunity with both hands and not let it slip.
So we know the $50,000 is the big prize, but it's mainly the title that is the biggest thing. I do hear a lot of feedback there, so hopefully we can try and sort that out soon. But the title is what you have. For those who don't know the story, the Daily Telegraph broke it today. You're actually donating it all.
Yeah, at least 45K of it to my sister. I'd need about 5K of it for myself just to fix a few things up. But other than that, that'll give her the freedom to do what she needs, and not have to make some tough choices or compromises. So, but yeah, for me as an individual, it's a massive thing. Money aside, that's not a thing to me. So much money's not important for me. It's the biggest thing was just sort of the reward of the achievement, just because I think, yeah, for me, a lot of times in my life, I've, blacked doubt, lacked belief and had quite a lot of doubt in myself and whether I could, whether, putting enough effort in was worth the while. And so I'd sort of I feel like I've coasted through life a bit too much. And being able to, well, this feedback's crazy now, but yeah, being able to just sort of achieve this has allowed me to find a self-confidence in myself to apply myself to whatever else I do in my life aside from Supercoach. So I'm really grateful to Supercoach for that experience, that it's now sort of changed something in me.
Yeah, so you obviously knew of this a few weeks back, and that was the week you had a really crazy week. Do you feel like something was looking after you? The Villi Shrine, really.
I have to say so. Yeah, it'd be pretty naive to say that there wasn't something guiding me. As I said before, I'm not really a religious person. A lot of my family, extended family and stuff are. But yeah, I guess I'm a big believer in the universe, and I don't know too much about the universe. I don't think any of us does, but I was just heard a lot about sending positive messages and, what's that word? Is it affirmations? No. Just basically manifesting, just really trying to, imagine what it would be like to have this moment that I'm experiencing now. And yeah, I did that quite a lot, pretty much on a weekly basis, just to sort of make sure that, I don't know, that happened. I just figured if I just put my focus into it, that it would happen. And it's just blowing my mind still that it's actually happened. It's just weird that I kind of did know that I was going to win the week prior to last. So that was super relieving with the information I had also being delivered recently.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like, especially in this the current rules and everything, it's a massive achievement to pull out a win, especially when scores can flip so quickly from week to week. I guess we'll move on a little bit. We know we'll get back to you, Tim, I'm sure. But Jake, how's your season gone? Where's it gone wrong? Where has it gone right? And yeah.
Right. I don't think there was too many rights. That we got off to a shocking start. No Tedesco. That was well documented in this podcast. I was a meme for a couple of months there. So I guess it was all the start. And I mean, Timmy got a decent start, but it wasn't until sort of the mid-season where he like flew home. But I mean, I don't know. It wasn't really much. I finished the season with 12 players playing last week. So I mean, before that, it was like last few weeks leading up to it, all right. But yeah, it was a stinker. Looking forward to 2022.
So I actually looked at our ranks today. You ranked around 8,500. It was Mikey next on 4,500. Mikey, I wouldn't say you're a silent achiever, but you actually coasted your way through and made some cash comps. So you actually had a pretty good season.
Yeah, look, it wasn't. Obviously, it's hard to live up to the season I had last season. Oh, that's hard, that feedback. But yeah, obviously we've coming 13th at some point to now the season I've had this year. Obviously, I really wanted to try and do it again. I started the season real poor. I didn't panic. I stuck to the usual memento that I go through and my usual super coach plans. And yeah, of course it worked out. I was sitting at like 30,000 at the halfway mark and I narrowed my way back to 3,000. Unfortunately, over the last round, I pumped out 11 players and 1178, which was heartbreaking. I lost one of my leagues. I was up against 16 players and I lost by 20. So realistically, I've got to think, I've had a good year. And I think the main thing is out of each season, take the biggest piece of learning, and mine is, what Tim did really well was trade management. I'm usually really good on trade management. I know Sabs, we always have a bit of a dig every season about trades, and realistically, I was giving it to you all year, but I didn't do good at trades at all. I said I had all this depth, and I didn't plan for all these injuries and suspensions. And regardless on the rule changes next year, my key focus will be don't trade if I don't need to. If I fall back a few weeks, it doesn't mean I can get back. But I don't think Jake should be so hard on himself. I think he just, compared himself to maybe how well the rest of us were doing. But still, 8,000 with how bad he said his season was. I know it's down on his quota, but you punch real hard at the back end. And I think all four of us in the top 10,000 just really speaks for the volume, why we do the podcast. So it's good to see us all up amongst it. Obviously, we'd all want to do a bit better. Like if we all got in the top 1,000, it'd be better. But yeah, Jake, it's Sabs is tipping it to be your year next year, so I'm looking forward to next year.
I did say that last year that I think this year would be his year, but it's got to happen sometime. He's ranked so well so often in the past, and just these last few years. I guess the same with me as well.
Well, it's gone in order, Sabs. It went you, me, Tim, and now that had good seasons, and now I'm sure it's Jake's turn.
Yeah, 100%. So obviously I ranked 2,000th, and you were saying you'll give me shit for trades towards the end of the year. I actually used my last trade a similar week to when you used your last trade, and that last week I'm pretty sure I had 14 players. So things did go my way, but it's not always going to go your way. So I think the one thing we will focus on next season is trade management, and Tim was someone who was really good at that, who came into the last week. He didn't need it, but the fact that he had two trades up his sleeve coming first is just absolutely huge. Got him Matt Burton, Payne Haas. Obviously you won Supercoach, Timmy, but how were you feeling about it on the weekend, getting in Payne Haas, who got injured for 19, over Brian To'o, who was someone you probably would have got if you weren't, if you were chasing?
Yeah, I was sort of, having the trades up my sleeve. I was planning to probably fall behind going into the last round and being able to then attack and sort of finish over the finish line when with the extra points with having those players. But yeah, it was a tough one, man. I really wanted to bring in To'o and even Cleary just for sentimental value. I knew they'd be able to score enough to make it worth it, but it was just a risk that didn't need to be taken with, the lead that I had. The smartest play was for me to just block, pretty common players around me. And the guy that ended up finishing second had Burton and Haas as well. So just in case, I did get To'o and he fell over and hurt himself immediately or something like that, it would have been drastic, and it wasn't something that I could really be taking that risk with, because, as I said, it wasn't my money I was sort of playing with. But yeah, I still had him in the side at some point. So the fact that To'o was there and Cleary was there for most of it made me realize I didn't have to have them in the last round for sentimental value, and I didn't need to have them in the finishing side. They're all part of the journey. So.
Yep. So obviously this episode is the awards show episode. So we're going to go through all the awards for the year. We voted for the player awards together, and then we've gone out to the socials to get all the feedback for funniest things and things like that, all the other awards. Firstly, just want to recommend everyone to Top Sport. Use the code SC Experience when signing up. Yes, it is our last episode, but you can still use the code SC Experience. There's still a lot of finals going on, and they've got a lot of Timmy, do you know if Tripod are doing the mixed matchup in the finals series?
I'm assuming they'll probably find a mixed matchup, but I can't confirm that. But they will have best bets, and Jacob will have some upside. Recommend people head over and check those out.
Yeah, so there's a really good mixed matchup that Tripod do, which is Top Sport Upload. So you can still sign up with our code and jump on that that best bet for the week, and it's usually pretty good odds. So join Top Sport, over 18, gamble responsibly. And we're also giving away the Supercoach Champion ring today. I'll go and get that very shortly when someone starts talking. But yeah, we're drawing a name of like 22 people in a hat. We have the top 20 in our overall group, and we have 2 people who left reviews and screenshotted and sent them to us. So
Yeah,
we have that going. So I guess firstly, we will start with the cash comps. Mikey, do you want to bring it away?
Yeah, so just quickly, thanks to the Supercoach Champion rings for offering up that ring. They did it the previous season, but this season, instead of doing a short round prize, we'd offered it to the best players that have played it over the season. So, congrats to them, and we'll draw that on there soon. So, congrats to all of them. And with the cash comps, I'm sure Jake, if you can get up the winners, so we can give them all a shout out. I know the battle between me and Timmy wasn't so well for myself, but congrats to Timmy for taking out that one. If we haven't paid you guys yet, or you haven't hit us up and you're one of the winners, just hit us up on our Supercoach Experience inbox and we'll sort that out. I know we've still got a couple left to pay. Yeah, Jake, I'll get you to go through the winners of.
Hang on.
I have the winner. I have the winners here. So for the $50 comp, we have the winner, Villi.
Thank you.
So yes, you took away 50K, but he absolutely cleaned up in a lot of cash comps as well. Runner up, Troop Jacker Mafia. For the $20 comp, the winner is Haydos, and the runner up is So Done. So they have been paid. $20 cash comp number 2, the winner, Villi. The runner up, Around the Corner. Now this was a matchup, Jake. Around the Corner is one of your mates. A matchup he thought he had in the bag.
He did. He was. He had quite a few players left on the Sundays, but they all stunk. Aiken went off injured. Noffa, I think you had Noffa anyway. But Luciano got sim binned. Lodge got sim binned. Fanua Blake. Oh yeah, I think you have him as well. But yeah, all of his pods that he sort of had on the Sunday, he only lost by 25. But all those players just had absolute stinkers, and Timmy just got him. So it was a close one, and my mate's pretty devastated. It was pretty devastated, but it was quite funny for the rest of us in the inbox to give it to him.
Yeah, very funny. Well, if you're going to lose to someone, you
lose to first place.
$20 cash comp number 3. The winner is Timmy Turbo. He's been paid. The runner-up is Chicken Dinners. So I'm not sure who the name of that guy is, but he's still yet to be paid. So make sure to hit us up. $25 cash comp. No, sorry, $20 number 4. Atomic Terminators came first, and the Rhythm Bugs came second. That's Michael's
He scored quite massively, actually. Atomic Terminator. I saw he scored 700.
Yeah, just quickly with the Terminators. He hasn't collected his cash yet. We paid off Solomon, who was the runner-up. So yeah, who the coach of the Atomic Terminators. Hit us up so we can fix that up.
$25 cash comp. The winner was Back That Pass Off, Matthew Hurst. He's been paid. He was the minor premier of that. Well deserved. The runner up was the Savage Turbos, and It was quite a hard matchup. It was quite a hard matchup because I think the difference was 10 points, and I had Fanua Blake and he had Curran, and I was expecting updates to push me over the line, but I didn't quite get there, so it was quite of a sting. And the $10 cash comp, it was only a prize for the winner. Fab's Fallacy won, and Savage Turbos was the runner-up yet again. And that was,
Runner-up again.
that was another one I thought I had in the bag, but Payne Haas, Fanua Blake absolutely let me down. So, actually, no, it was Payne Haas and Nofaluma. Nofaluma, Jesus. Worst buy of the year, don't you reckon, Timmy?
Yeah, pretty much up there, mate. Pretty much up there.
Glad I got
Just,
rid of him when I could. Doesn't seem interested, but hey, he might be a sneaky option for next year. I know it's some people say never again, but if he's at the right price and the Tigers have a good run, you'll consider him.
We'll always consider him. He's, but I feel like he's not a base stat beast like he has been renowned for.
Yeah, agree.
Moving on to the awards. Do you want to get started?
Yeah, just quickly, thanks to everyone that entered, and we will. I say we'll be doing cash comps again next year, but just plug the channel and we'll let you know.
All right, let's go. All right, let's start with the player awards. The fullback of the year, as decided by the panel. Can we go past this guy? Can we go past him?
You don't even need to ask us.
So the winner of that is Tom Trbojevic, obviously. Ended the season with 147, and he's going to be a hard one to pick up next year. If you want to start getting your head around your kind of team structure next year, Jake down below has do you want to let him know what you've done?
Yeah, I've made a little team picker for 2022. There was a few prices sort of hinted at of some like the news for the few of the players. So I've based that to sort of get a rough calculation to what all the players' prices will be based on their season average. So I've formulated all that and into a spreadsheet. So Savs is probably going to post it up. I know he's already done it sort of in our main hub, I guess, but you'll probably post on the Facebook as well.
Yeah, so I'll put it in the link tree, but for some reason it's not working in the link tree, so I'll just post the link up. It's very good, and
just a little thing. Tom Turbo will probably start at $1.25 million next year, so have fun fitting that in your $10 million salary cap.
And also, we don't know what they're going to change your positions to or whatnot. So obviously, it's not 100% perfect. It's just a way to have a bit of a fun and plan.
I saw before the last round, Tom Turbo was at like 1.2 million because he was averaging 137. So you had to update that, and 200 grand price jump just in one game.
Oh, well, not quite that. It was about 60, I think, based on the average. But
yep.
Yeah, I mean, the guy just keeps banging out record after record. So that's why we've put him at fullback. Well, probably the best player in Supercoach. We'd probably get a Daily M for our awards as well if we do that at the end. But definitely fullback for sure.
The centre wing, I don't agree with this, but the panel has gone with Brian To'o. Timmy and Mikey voted Brian To'o, and I think Ruben Garrick has to be an honourable mention for second. Guys, do you want to lead the way with your discussion on To'o?
Yeah, look, a bit like you, I might sometimes be a little bit love blind when it comes to To'o. He's my Tommy Turbo to you. I love Brian To'o, but the thing is, I know he didn't play a complete and full season where Ruben Garrick did. Ruben Garrick obviously had the goals. I just think To'o didn't need to try to go massive, and I really think, he was someone in the centre wing that you needed to have success, and I know a lot of us got on early. And the same thing with Garrick. The thing why I put To'o ahead of Garrick is because there's another award which I think suits Garrick really well, and look, it's really close to them. I know a lot of other pages saying, Garrick is the player of the year, and look at what price he ended up with. But To'o was just a machine. When he'd score a try, you're looking at 90 plus, and that's hard to get out of a winger. Look, he averaged 245 meters per game, and all those stats that he had really translated into Supercoach. So, yeah, for me, Toa was a necessity to my side, and I'm sure plenty of other sides. And not owning him in the end there for that 160 is what cost me a cash comp. So, yeah, look, either him or Garrick. Garrick was just as great. I can't believe how good Garrick was. He was another one where if you didn't own him, you fell behind.
And I think
just ahead.
And honourable mention, I think, was Nico Hines as well. Although he wasn't actually
Yeah.
a centre or winger, I think he sort of based on the price and the fact when he came in, when to get rid of him, he was an important one for Supercoach as well in the centre wing.
Yeah, very
I
close
agree.
race between those three.
5'8" of the year, Cody Walker is the man. I feel like we can't go past this guy. He, I mean, you had him at the start of the season, Mikey, but once he hit that real form, he wasn't to be stopped. He was easily the 5'8" of the year. Honourable mention. Do we want to say Adam Dewey, Timmy?
Yeah, I think
100%.
that's fair. Yep. When he was in 5'8", he did great. Yeah. Dude, he had maybe one game that wasn't excellent, but the rest of them were right up there.
And he flew under the radar for the good half of the season too. So, yeah, you got an honourable mention for sure.
Yeah, he was definitely a good pod. And probably, I know a lot of people have asked you what your best trades are, Timmy. You've said Daly Cherry Evans, Papali, Nico Hines, but Adam Dewey is right up there.
Yep. Yeah, he's right up there. I mean, I only got him on the second wave, not the first wave. So I missed out that first sort of run he had with when he was in 5'8". And then he got moved to the centres and people were sort of getting off him at that point. And then once he got back into 5'8", he was certainly a good pickup at that point because I got rid of, I think it was Nicarima at that time who was struggling. So,
yep. Halfback, Nathan Cleary. That's hands down best option. Honourable mentions, Cherry Evans and Hughes. Cherry Evans is obviously been a crucial part of your success, Timmy. But moving forward, is he a possible option for next year? There's always a right time to pick him up, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, people might sort of spot DCE as a must-have because they didn't have him, and that I did have him, and that was the key to my success. I don't know that that'd be the answer next year. Maybe it would be at a certain time. I mean, it just depends. You've only got 2 spots available, so I guess it would just depend on pricing. And I mean, if you're probably going to try and get Cleary in one spot, maybe you're probably going to work towards starting with some cheapies and working your way up in that other spot. So I doubt he'd be able to start with him unless he was significantly cheaper than Cleary or something. And
the only way you're going to start with DCE is if you take him instead of Cleary, which I think would be crazy because with the price your fullbacks and your Cleary would cost, it'd be very hard to run 2 gun halfbacks because the rest of your side's going to look crap house. But obviously all speculation, but I agree with the man up there.
I guess with the conversation for next year, are you better off going like a Cleary and like who's better, having a second tier fullback like Cherry Evans instead of Cleary, or a second tier fullback like Tedesco, Ponga, or Pappenhausen over Turbo? Like it's going to be a discussion point next year, but I guess we won't get into it now because this is all about the year that was. Hooker, the man that pretty much was in our nightmares, Timmy, Brandon Smith.
I don't think any of us owned him, did we?
No, we didn't.
None of us 4 owned Brandon Smith, which is actually quite crazy with how well he did. We were all Brayley owners, and we just all clutched onto Brayley. And then me and Jake went over to Cook, and then used to explore different avenues like Ben Hunt. And
Ben Hunt. Oh, Ben Hunt.
Oh God.
Yeah, the cheese. What a tough one. I mean, you sort of needed to jump on the cheese at a certain time. And I think for the rest of us, it was sort of a bit out of price. And if you're waiting for Harry Grant, you kind of probably couldn't afford to be getting 2 in hooker that were expensive, considering that position wasn't so juicy. But yeah, it was handy for people to pick up and were able to sort of move him to into second row. I think that was the one guy I really wish I did pick up because he gave us so much stress.
Yeah, I agree. I guess honorable mentions. Harry Grant is the only one, but I don't think he played enough games to actually be an option. But it was kind of the.
Yeah. So sorry, I was just going to mention Jane Brayley. I think he was a key player for like everyone's Supercoach team.
For the first
was
half
in
of the
almost for the first half of the year, and then it was a way to move on to someone else. I think he was pretty important for Supercoach. Not necessarily the best player, but he was important.
I think if Grant was there for every single game this year, he would have easily could have been the hooker of the year. It's going to be interesting to see when he gets a full year. I think he's going to be near a must-have.
I agree. Moving on to prop of the year. So we actually all decided Isaiah Papali'i was prop of the year. Obviously, played second row most of the year. I think towards the end of the season, super coach, yes. I think towards the end of the year, Payne Haas, obviously, he came back to his good old self, attacking stats, offloads. But Isaiah Papali'i was real gold to have in that front row area. So we've gone with him. Any notable mentions, Jake?
Not really in the front row. It was an ordinary year for front row, and I think it's going to continue on to next year as well.
I think we could shout out TPJ, who was absolutely outstanding in the first half of the season. And even if you owned him and kept him, the last two games he's had for Penrith in the minimal minutes, you wouldn't have been unhappy playing him in your side. So I think he deserves a bit of a shout out.
I agree.
And maybe even Manu.
Oh, yes. So
a very good cheapie.
So Timmy Otakamano, how do you feel about holding him for pretty much the whole year?
Well, when he got a starting spot, he was always doing a job for me. But then towards the back end of the year, he really picked up, and I felt like he was a bit of a Payne Haas 2.0. He sort of looked a lot like him and was doing a lot. Yeah, just sort of playing a lot like him as well. So I think he could be handy next year as well. I think he's probably going to lift a lot more and show us a lot of good signs.
I think so too. I think he is definitely someone to consider, especially with how the Tigers are going. They're obviously going to need to rely on some more forwards. Second row of the year, David Fafita. Angus Crichton was someone Mikey actually voted for. So why do you think you went that avenue, Mikey?
Look, I originally said him, but then after that, I kind of thought about it, and I go, if you go off averages and how good David Fafita was scoring-wise, 100% David Fafita was the best option. I just thought maybe a lot of people, like, I don't know, you Sabs might have found Angus Crichton disappointing, but I thought he was safe for 60 every week, and the attacking stats in a depleted Roosters side were always still there for him, and I thought he was, a lot of the time he'd plug in 80 to 90, and I just thought he was Mr. Reliable, where we saw Fafita be a bit inconsistent, and, he did get suspended quite a few times in those injuries, and I think that really affected him too. So I think on consistency, I preferred Crichton, but yeah, overall, you've got to give the gold medal to David Fafita because just, there was no other second rower that could go 150 plus, and, he done that so often. So it was the case where, none of us actually started with him. Did you start with him, Timmy? Because I wasn't interested in starting with him more, and I thought he was not going to be that good, and it got to the point where if you don't get him, you're going to fall behind. So, look, it's going to be an interesting year next year because there's no way you can fit all these players. They've all averaged way too high. It's going to be an interesting year. I just want it to start already.
Yes. I actually went Crichton to Fafita after round one. So I'm not sure if Timmy did that early on. Did you, Timmy?
No, it's pretty late for me, man. I think it was. I don't think I had Fafita. Remember that time we went to watch the footy the first time around to your mate's place around the corner? It was sort of a little bit looser that night. Nick's, yeah. But I didn't have him then. I think like round 5, 6, 7. I don't know.
Oh,
it took a while for me to get him.
Was that the weekend that you played Charlie Staines over Laurie, who turned up that weekend? Yeah,
that's the one that the week Sini debuted. Yeah,
and then you that's when you got addicted to Rockstar because Brian To'o got addicted to.
That was the second time we went to Nick's.
Yeah, all right.
The second time we got an addiction.
All right. I guess moving on. Surprise player of the year. So there's a lot.
You missed the lock, didn't you, Sabs? The lock.
Yeah, no, it was all second rows.
Second row.
Oh, yeah, because they count the same. Yeah, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Continue.
I actually started writing out the awards like winger, centre, but we're a Supercoach show. We still don't need to do
Yeah, exactly.
But if we did have to choose a center, who do you reckon you guys would have gone with?
Center.
Joey Manu when he wasn't playing centre. But so I don't know.
Yeah,
but
but
he's
he
a
wasn't
centre.
there. Jesse Ramian was an all right one at centre. I know he
Raymond,
was
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
good
yeah,
for
he
you,
was
Timmy.
Sleeper.
Gay guy
Super
as well.
coach wise. Yeah.
I didn't have Gay Guy, but Gay Guy was really good every time he seemed to play. He was either scored quite well or had a good 50 in him at least as well.
Yeah, we don't know where
Um,
Savs has disappeared to, but yeah, we'll continue. And I
Come
guess
back for a green.
Guys like Olam, I think, were a bit too hot and cold. He had too many sort of smaller or mediocre scores, and
I think Savs probably wants to probably vote for Brad Parker before he left. He's
Yeah,
a
well,
massive Brad Parker fan.
he goes all right. You know what I mean? Like he hits lines pretty well. Like he runs hard. Like he's not. He doesn't seem to get over the line unless there's a massive gap there. But he's all right. You
Yeah,
can't
and
have-
the
not
surprise-
everyone
Anyone
can be
else
John
like
Trbojevic.
Yeah.
until we get Savs back, I know the next thing he was going to say was a surprise player of the year, which we voted Ruben Garrick. I'm pretty sure. We touched on him before. Probably should have gave him the center wing of the season, but he was outstanding. Like I never ever thought he was going to be that good. I remember early season. I think I saw in the All Stars. I reckoned he was an excellent draft pickup, and and I just didn't think he could keep all those high scores up, and he did. So I think another special mention for that would be Adam Dewey as well. I think he was a surprise packet player for the year. Sorry, Sabs, I continued with what you were going to say next. So
No, that's
we've
right.
done a
Thank you.
surprise player. Yeah, so we done our
Who was-
surprise player.
Who was
I
it?
said Garrick, and then Dewey is a special mention.
I voted for Garrick. I think Hines has to be definitely in the conversation as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think
He,
I voted for Tom Trbojevic as my surprise packet because
Hey, you did that. There's a good argument for that as well.
yeah, I mean there was people considering not getting him in. Do you know what I mean? And I was one of them. So it was a little bit because of the hammy, but he didn't play anywhere near this good in the past. I mean, he showed great signs and was always a great fullback and a good rugby league player. But this year was just was out of this world.
God knows,
There's another
beast
level.
mode.
Yeah, I agree.
Nothing like I've seen.
Cheapie of the year.
I voted Nico Hines, but I'm pretty sure he didn't win.
No,
Yeah, I think
Nico.
I voted Nico if we can sit him one, but I think we said me and Mike were the
Sam
same. We
Walker.
said Sam Walker at bottom dollar if we had to pick one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think there was one year where we didn't really get a big centre wing cheapie that went absolutely mate. We didn't get that this year. Yeah, there was money to make in the centre wing, but there wasn't. Normally it's a centre wing, you say, but yeah, Sam Walker with what price he got to so quickly, I guess you'd have to give it to him. But still, Nico Hines from mid 200s all the way up to 800k, near 900k at one point. No one saw that coming. He was amazing, and the same said. Look at the amount of money that Tom Trbojevic made already on a 500k, and he ended at 1200. So he made nearly as much as any.
I think the thing that separates Hines
So
from Sam Walker is he in Super Coach for this year is that Hines was kind of a must-have for a long part of the year. You know what I mean? If you didn't have him, you're pretty much falling behind. But for a bottom dollar rookie, I think Sam Walker was superb.
I agree.
I agree.
Someone's still talking when we're not talking.
Moving on to Supercoach player.
Savs is having some issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit slow. I think my internet's really slow today. I don't know why.
Look how pixely he is.
Tell the hamster to run faster.
Maybe. Jesus, mate. Yeah. All right. Moving on to the Supercoach Player of the Year, Tom Trbojevic. Don't even need to speak about it.
Yeah, he was number one in actuals. Yeah, in total points, and look how many games he played. If he played 24, I believe he would have set a record that no one could ever beat. So, bar himself.
Yep.
Insane.
All right. We're going to go over to the Supercoach Champion ring,
Yep, let's do it.
guys. So
Good luck to the top 20. Is
And
Timmy
the
involved in
extra
that,
two,
or has he decided to drop out?
I
He's
wasn't
not-
involved in it.
He-
I'm
okay.
on the internet. I don't know how to join things, and I'm
We'll
not
show
good
you
at
for next year for when you go back to back.
Thanks, man.
All right, so here we go. You can see it on the screen there, lads.
No,
No.
we
Oh, you
can't.
can't?
No.
Oh, wait. Here we go.
Now we can.
No, it's just a
Yeah,
bit
you can-
delayed, guys. Just bear with us.
Yeah, Sav's dial-up internet struggling a bit here.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it?
So
All right,
there's your
so-
20 team names there. So the winner of this will send you out a ring. So hit us up after the episode.
Full screen that,
Right.
Sav, so I can see it, mate.
Yeah, full screen it. All right, here we go.
The little dome on the left.
Of the Supercoach champion.
Is...
Oh, Tom Shaw's at bottom.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, Tom Shawks. Nah.
It's
Yep.
the bottom.
Well,
Tyler
bottom.
Rook.
He's Brad. He came 11th.
He came
There you
11th.
go.
11th
Well
overall,
done, mate.
yeah. Well done.
Yeah, Timmy knows his stuff. Well done to him. If you're not watching now, obviously, I'm sure Sabs will post it on our page. And yeah, I remember last year's winner we had on the podcast. So up to you, Sabs, what you want to do this year. But yeah, congrats on the ring, mate.
Yeah, we'll definitely have him on to start next year. But yeah, there we go. And now let's do our fan voted awards. Funniest moment on the show. Got to be honest, we didn't get many responses.
Maybe we need to give more time
I
next
don't,
year.
I don't think Sav's set it up too well. I mean, I couldn't even vote. I didn't even know how to vote.
No,
Yeah, I was a bit bugged.
so we usually do a Survey Monkey, and I thought a good idea to do it was do it through Facebook and Instagram stories. I mean, we did get a lot of responses, but not as many as we usually do with the Survey Monkey. So the overwhelmingly, the best answer for this was Rogue Savs, and there wasn't really many funny moments in the year. We didn't really have funny moments. We had it was Tim's year, and I think that's what it was.
I
It
think
will
I
grow
know
up
what
a
they
bit
mean by
this year.
rogue Savs. Is
It
that
was
when
more
you just
early on? It was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when
it was
he'd
borderline
swear and go
abusive.
nuts, and yeah, when
borderline
he'd go,
abusive? Yeah, that's pretty
yeah, it
funny.
was when he's abusive, and we had to kind of tell him to tone it down because
Yeah,
kids do what
I,
you have
I
to do
remember. I remember
sometimes.
Sav's abused. I think it was a kid.
Yeah.
In one
Yes.
of them, he went off at a kid. That
He abused a lot of
Ran
people,
with-
even panel members. So
Yep.
yeah,
Um,
I think we've grown up a bit this year, apart from the Savs. So I think that's why there wasn't as many funny moments. But hey, we just want to get good content, so it can't always be funny.
Yeah,
and actually the Brad's actually is the guy who just won the ring. He's actually in the chat there. Brad Huxley.
I
Oh,
just
there you go.
realized
Pop him up.
ranked
Let's go,
11th,
Brad
and-
Huxley.
Yeah, plug that up on the screen, Savs. Brad Huckley's he's actually been commenting the whole time. So
Yeah,
yeah,
congrats, Brad.
been a good fan to us.
He
And he's
snuck a
actually-
tracksuit and now a champion's ring. Congrats, mate. Brilliant.
And
Benny.
he's-
Awesome, brother.
he's actually what's the word? He's been inboxing us, just letting us know about his progress and stuff. So I'm really happy that it went to someone that is a good listener.
Yeah, tuning in. Yeah,
Okay.
it's good.
A
Normally
good
we have to
listener.
change this
I
stuff
like
up.
You listen well. You listen well.
Yeah. So earlier in the year, I pretty much there was a kid in the background and the whisperer was on, and I think I said, "Shut up,
Hey, yeah.
shut
Whose
Who's
kid is
whose effing kid is that? And it was great.
whose fucking kid is that?"
Yeah.
And then I think the next
In
week
an
I
American accent.
yeah, I think the next week I said something like "fuck the whisperer" or something, and then
Yeah.
a lot of that, but it's all right. It's all swept under the rug. Me and whisperer.
Actually, there was another one. I wasn't on the show, but you and Mikey were doing like impersonations, and Timmy was so confused because you were playing like a recorded thing, and Timmy was so confused.
I'm confused most of the time. Hey?
Yeah. You were doing like voice impressions, and Timmy was so he wasn't in on it, so he was so confused. I thought that one was a pretty good one as well.
I don't actually remember.
There's a lot of ones we don't remember. Like I think a lot of them too, with the funny moments, comes down to us bagging each other out. And I know Sabs has a good old time bagging you out, Jake. And yeah,
Warranted.
And then the week there was a week I made a terrible decision, and Jake chose not to give it back to me. So I think I'm forever in Jake's debt. To
Yeah, and actually the song podcast that was aimed at me, that wasn't a good one.
that was funny, eh, Tim?
Oh yeah, for you guys.
All right.
It's funny.
funniest moment in the NRL. Now, I put this photo up there, and overwhelmingly it got the response. The Cody Walker and Lachlan Lewis incident. Tim really wants to just stay Lachlan Lewis in general, right?
I want to stay him.
Yeah, you want to say that Lachlan Lewis in general has been the funniest thing all year.
Oh, I think Lachlan Lewis is the generally funniest thing. I'm all about it. I think the halftime, I like his cheeky smile, his straight brushed hair. It's the whole thing. It's a package. It's hilarious. I love him.
Yeah, because he had
One
a
of the
few
boys for
moments.
sure.
He had the tackle on Walker, and then he also stole some.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
Well, allegedly
Allegedly.
stole some
Allegedly. It
some
could be just
speakers
wild
from a player, but
allegations.
How funny
Yeah.
is it that they find him 10K and like, do they really think he has 10K to pay the fine? Like, if he's doing
Isn't
that
he
sort
like he's the nephew of someone else pretty famous, isn't he? I think he gets
Ollie?
cash. I think so.
Yeah. Best guest on the show. First was Henry. Yeah, I think he must have got his mates to vote on that, but
Henry.
nonetheless,
100% he did.
nonetheless, well deserved. He's also listened to every show, and even though he's finished at 62nd, I think he had a great season, and everyone's great seasons, including SC Spy, has really been overshadowed by this man up here.
Yeah, I apologize for overshadowing other people that have had a lot of success too. Like Henry, was in number one for a very long time, and I was admiring him in the early part of the season, just wondering what that would feel like. So, for him to achieve that spot, and he was in the top 30 for the whole season until last round when he got unlucky. So, great season for him. And there's plenty of guys around there too.
Yeah, fourth in that podcasters league, the Turbo Hammies Cup, and all those guys in there. Like I've 4,000 rank, and I finished 11th out of the 20th. Everyone in there did such a good job. They all finished highly, and it's not just any chance that they're the guys that do podcasts. It shows that a lot of them know what they're talking about.
Now that we're talking about like podcasts and stuff like that, I sort of was hoping to get an opportunity on today's live on the sort of show with Sangster and that to sort of say some thank yous, but didn't really get the opportunity sort of present itself naturally, organically. So if I can take that moment now, that'd be nice on our podcast, if you don't mind. So
go for it.
First and foremost, wanted to start by thanking you three boys, the Supercoach Experience, Brandon Savage, Michael Attard, and Jake McGivern. The thing is, you guys, helped me, which not everyone might know from day one. When I first started Supercoach, I started not emailing. See, I don't know the difference between a Facebook message and an email. I was sending some sort of correspondence by punching my fingers. And you guys always answered me, and I'd ask dumb questions, and sometimes I was shy to ask questions on a lot of the bigger pages because if you don't know what you're talking about, sometimes people can be a bit bullish. So you guys were always kind to me, and I always felt a safety in you guys being able to just not judge me for my questions or whatever. So I appreciate that, and that was massive. I also need to thank Des Creek, 2019 champion. He was in my corner for a very long period of this. I think once he sort of seen that I was a shot, I think he reached out to me eventually and was sort of like, all right, you're going to win this. All right, you can do this. And when I was a bit going nuts and stuff, he'd keep me sane, and which is crazy because I think he's as kooky as I am in the mind. So, but I think he balanced me out quite well. I need to thank Adam DeRusi, some of his insight and some of his just breakdown of, the stats that would have taken me a lot longer, that I was spending a long time into delving through every single side and doing everything manually on paper. He was able to sort of, through the SC playbook, he was able to provide a lot of information that was very useful. So he was someone I need to mention as well. Two other players that I pinned myself against the whole year that are special shout outs is to the Supercoach Spy from the SC playbook, and also Costa Georgeson from Searching for Corey Parker. In our Turbo Hammies Cup, I could tell real early that, they were right up amongst it in the ranks. And so I listened to their podcast, the ones that these two boys were on, to try and find out where their heads were at. And they probably guided a lot of my big decisions along the way, except for, maybe like the likes of DCE, which was a very special thing. I sort of was lucky to find out without having anyone else sort of catch on to that. But those guys were really just the way that they spoke about Supercoach allowed me to then think about Supercoach differently. The way they sort of questioned things really opened my mind. And without those guys and without competing against them, I don't think I would have been able to have been in this spot, because I really felt like I was up against those guys, and they were really, really big on the information they were providing on their podcast. So thanks to both those boys as well. Other than that, just a shout out to all contributors, all podcasters, anyone who posts on any of the pages with any information and stuff. People like, the NRL Physio and, Wacko's Whispers and all these sorts of things, all the pages. So, anyone that contributes, I really appreciate that, because, I'm not much of a contributor myself. I just sort of come on here and say stuff. I'm not great at typing a lot of stuff and providing analytical data and stuff like that, but I appreciate people that are providing that and not keeping it all to themselves.
Well, you're going to be one that's providing that for the Daily Telegraph. You're going to be doing articles for them.
I'll do a little 11 players to watch for next year, which is a bit of a tough one because I don't normally decide my team till TLT of the first round. So it means I'm going to have to start putting some thought into next year now. But hopefully I can come up with some 11 players that won't make me look ridiculous.
Agree. Anyone else, or do you want us to move on?
No, look, there's probably plenty of other people I need to thank. But if I kept thanking everyone, individually that, had supported me and reached out to me and, offered to be a guiding help and provide someone to bounce off and stuff like that, I want to thank everyone. And just everyone in the Turbo Hammies Cup, they're all really supportive. Everyone who, not only in the Turbo Hammies Cup, but changed their logos and colors to the pink and black and got around me. That was just like the most exciting, cool thing I could ever imagine. That was so fun. So thanks to everyone.
That was pretty sick. Everyone in the Turbo Hammies Cup changed their logo to yours.
Well, a few listeners did as well, because I saw a few in the top 100 or so that had the Timmy's logo as well. So it was good to see.
Which was massive. Like people that were still shooting in the rankings. I think even Brad that got 11th, he was shooting and competing, and he had his logo that changed that color, which is amazing for me, because I would probably not change my color. I would do it now that people have done it for me. But had someone suggested to me, I'm so passionate about my team that I'd probably want to keep my own colors for the final round. So the fact that people were willing to do that's why I think it's massive.
Yeah, so we have Jackson Edward here. So, Timmy, you're applying for the new permanent spot in the SC Experience. We did put up a post the other day just putting some interest out there for a new host. We're looking next season into doing more shows and just expanding a little bit. But we're going to...
Providing different things,
Yeah, providing different things, not just a weekly podcast, maybe a weekly, 2 weekly podcasts, or maybe a third somewhere else. And
watch this space before you open your mouth too much.
Yeah, so for the people that have applied, don't think we're ignoring you. We're going to review them all in the off season. We just want interest now, because we start usually January. We start back up.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of pre-season podcasts, and we're not saying we're definitely going to get on one, but it's more so just to start building it up. So if we do want to expand, we can. But yeah, we'll put plenty more work. Every year we're getting better and better, and next year we'll be the same. We're going to expand a bit further, and we'll be providing. I'll say we'll be providing more content next year for sure. So get excited, spread the word.
And especially Timmy is fully part of our panel. I know. I feel like I went back on all the podcasts earlier this year, and I was trying to find moments in the podcast that were strange moments from you, Tim. But you did not start Supercoach this season up until really late. So you weren't on our podcast till like the 3rd or 4th preseason episode.
Yeah, as I said, I don't get into it till TLT, like the first round. So I've got, when you said to me, we're getting back into the podcast, I'm like, there's no point in me coming on. I haven't really put any thought into it. I don't want to come on and just be sitting here. So, so once I was on board and once I was in the game, I thought I'd come on, and I love doing it with you guys. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I obviously had my hiatus from round 15 to about round 24 as well. Oh, round 18.
Well, that was understandable. That was understandable.
That's fair enough. And we had a poll out there. Who do you think is going to rank highest in the panel? Overwhelmingly, everyone thinks Tim's going to back it up and rank highest out of all of us. And it was pretty even.
Makes sense.
Even towards the bottom. As we said, we think it's Jake's year next year. But
Yeah.
Tim Williams, who came second last year, actually backed it up with a 4.33 this year. So that's massive from him.
Yeah, big time, especially because it was a different season as well, and he was able to just adapt, and he, had success in a completely different season to last year, and was able to find success in this season. That's impressive.
We're all really competitive, so it's going to be interesting, and there's going to be a lot of rule changes. It's been hinted, so I guess it's going to be whoever comes up with the best tactics. So it's going to be an interesting wait.
So early on, exactly. I think that's it for the awards. We haven't really talked Supercoach, because we don't need to. It's over.
Celebrating, here to celebrate Timmy and wrap the year up as usual. So
get behind the Penrith Panthers. Obviously, it's going to be a big year for them. They're going to take out the premiership and keep the locals happy.
How
one like Sabs. Oh, go Sabs, go.
It can't be a Manly Penrith grand final. Oh no, it can be. Actually.
Yeah, it can. If Penrith and Manly both have to win this week, or it can't be. And just quickly, unlike you, Savs, I know Jake doesn't have a team to support this week, but unlike many people, you actually have two teams to support in this final series. So I bet you're absolutely ecstatic with the Newcastle Knights and the Seagulls.
He'll be on the Panthers too by about, I'd say, the final two rounds.
Well,
yeah.
Glad there's a good mix of teams in there. I don't think Roosters are going to compete. There's really exciting teams. Penrith, Melbourne. Well, Melbourne are exciting. Like whether you hate them or not, they're exciting to watch. So I'm really excited for.
Just quickly, I know just like our tips for the round. Do we think there's going to be any upsets? I personally think there will be one upset this round, and I think Knights will beat the Eels. No, it's a big call. I don't think there'll be upsets of the other three. But yeah, I also think Manly will beat the Storm. But,
yes.
I do think that. I also think that because I want to find value in my 4-leg multi. But yeah, does anyone else generally think that someone can upset someone, Jake?
No, I don't think so. I think Melbourne will still beat Manly. Like you, I think the Knights are probably the only one. Paris side, they haven't been too good. I mean, I know they beat Melbourne a couple of weeks ago, but I don't know about them. Roosters got a few players back. And I think Penrith might towel up South Sydney, to be honest. That Blake Taff at fullback, I'm worried that Cleary's bombing him all day. He's going to have an absolute nightmare. I think they might try and change that maybe at full, put maybe Walker or Johnson at fullback. But if not, I think Cleary's just going to. I
don't see them taking Johnson off that edge. That works so well for him. So. Yeah, but I think if they leave it in there, I think it's going to be too much for the young man. That you saw last week, the Dragons put some points on him, so you could imagine what Penrith could do in that period.
Well, I mean, if Corey Norman can, cause troubles with his bombing, imagine what Cleary could do. Seriously, he's a different level.
Agree. I think Manly's going to be a nice upset this week, so hopefully.
There's no bias in that one.
Look, hopefully Munster's out to make those chances a bit higher, but yeah, he probably plays.
I agree. I'm thinking maybe next week or in the coming weeks we sit down and do a podcast and really reflect on Timmy's season, and do a week-to-week thing and let him talk us through what he was feeling that week. What do you reckon?
Maybe not a live one, but you can do like a short little one and plug it. But
not like a podcast for people to do. All right. Anything else we need?
No, just thanks everyone for following us through the whole season, I guess. Whether you were there from day one or just today, thanks you heaps for supporting us. It makes us want to keep doing it every week, even though some of us, like myself, suck. But next year, we'll hope you are all back next year for the cash comps and just to support us. Thanks heaps.
Yeah, I wanted to say
thanks to all these guys as well for being part of it.
Yeah, big thank you to everyone. We've had a big growth this year. I know it started out something little where me and Sabs just love talking Super Coach, and this whole platform has been a way where look how many friends we've made through it. 80% of the people I talk to weekly are Super Coach people, and really, we wouldn't have met Timmy and even Jake from school. Like, all that's basically why Sabs decided to make the podcast. So it's been a real treat. A lot of more people followed on this year, and we will have some surprises for you next year. Stay tuned. We're not going to leak too much, but be excited for next year where, we're just going to keep trying to grow and give you more content.
Big thanks to our main host, Saz. He puts in a lot of work and effort,
He
especially
does.
juggling a busy time in his life at the moment. So good job, brother.
Yes, I've got to get back to the family right now because an hour leaving her with the baby is not very good.
Ideal.
Not very ideal. No, it's been great, and I was in the hospital last week watching live when everyone delivered their video messages to you, so that was great, Timmy. But yeah, it's been a great week, and I'm looking forward to this new chapter of my life. And podcast takes a little bit of a backseat, but luckily we've got pretty solid guest, solid panel here to move forward with the show.
Yeah, it's, you might not see us all every week, but yeah, we've got a big panel and we got a lot of mates that we can always plug in. I'm sure we'll hear from Henry, Justin, and I'm sure you'll tee up the Whisperer, and there'll be plenty of guests all through next year. So looking forward to it.
Agree, Timmy. Congratulations once again. You really deserve it, and your act of kindness is absolutely crazy. You Daily Telegraph front page tomorrow, we're hearing possibly.
Maybe, yeah. Look, on that, for me, it's not a massive deal. Everyone's sort of making a fuss about it, and I appreciate that. But for me, it's my little sister. I don't see it as like I'm donating it to some sort of external charity. I'm just looking after my sister. So for me, it just makes sense. That's all.
Yeah, beautiful.
I do appreciate people that are saying kind things.
Yeah, just quickly, Savs, wanted to plug that BBL Super Coach is coming up. We don't normally do a stack of content. Savs loves his cricket, so I'm sure we might do a couple of podcasts. We won't commit to weekly ones, but if a lot of you guys are keen on doing that, would listen to that, let us know. And yeah, well, I'm sure it's hard to do a weekly Super Coach BBL one, but I'm sure we'll have a little bit of content with that. So I know all of us play that one by Tim. Not sure if Timmy, I'm sure we'll convince him to give it a go, but stay tuned for that as well.
It needs an off season, Jimmy.
Yeah, I want first in NRL and first in BBL. You could be the first one to do it, mate.
And even Supercoach Racing, I don't think we'll do a podcast for it, but if we can find someone who knows enough about it, I think a podcast just explaining what it is and how to go about it. I think that's the best way to go about it because Jake did pretty good last year. Des did pretty good last year, so maybe we can get him to do some content and just know how to go about it because I think Supercoach Racing, it seems shit.
It's I mean,
fun.
Like I'm not really much of a betting man, so I know nothing about horse racing. But I don't know, just to sort of look at it from a numbers point of view. I mean, it's all right.
It's pretty good.
It's a game, sure.
Yeah, it's a game.
Yep.
Get your Supercoach fix.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see you in the off season, but I guess we won't see you to this capacity. But we'll definitely try and pump out some content. So thank you for everyone. Thank you to all the co-hosts as well.
Thank you.
Stay safe, everyone.
Yeah, stay safe, and we'll see you guys soon. Go the Panthers.
The Panthers.
Yeah, go the Sharks. Oh wait,
go the Knights. Go the Knights.
Come on. And thanks thanks for listening.
Thanks,
guys.
Press the button.